just cried in front of all of you, so I feel like
we're family.
Yeah.
We're like Thanksgiving level family. Everybody's seen us cry this year, separately. It's really great.
I'm always on the verge of tears when I come up here, and so I couldn't even start that sentence. Anyways.
All right, so thrilled. Thank you all who participated in the open mic. Today we have added another featured reader that we love and adore and respect so much. She is moving out of state next week, so we're so grateful to feature you one more time, have you join us. And this is in her bio, but she also wrote the introduction to the Ice Cream Social Anthology.
Woo!
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yes.
I can't spoil it, but it's really cool. It's just beyond our expectations. Words.
Our words.
I'm forgetting all my words today.
But without further ado, allow me to introduce our dear friend, Kimberly Alidio. She's a U.S. I don't know how to say any words, East Coast born, second generation, Filipinx tenure track dropout, most recently from East Austin, Texas. She wrote After Projects the Sound, which is available in the store on a table. Received a doctorate from the University of Michigan, held and left a tenure track position at the University of Texas's History Department, Center for Asian American Studies, and currently studies poetry at the University of Arizona. That's where she's moving. She's proud to author the introduction to the forthcoming Ice Cream Social Anthology, out this fall.
Oh, snap.
It was summer, but I guess September is technically fall.
I think, yeah, please. Kimberly, please grace us with your presence on this.
Okay, so this is definitely a home for me. Thank you so much for adding me. Thank you for the patience of the actual feature readers. I'm kind of doing this as a ritual to leave. This is from a in progress manuscript called The Sky Forever, which refers to Texas Forever, which came down into my consciousness through Friday Night Lights. This is a love letter to my Austin, to my Texas. I've been here for 17 years. Hope to come back. I'm also been thinking about languages of intimacy and distance. And in the second part of this, I refer to phatic language, P-H-A-T-I-C, which is gestures or phrases that maintain social contact and interaction, but don't have content, like, let's see, or have a nice day, or nodding. So, something you need to know. Okay. 18. More and more I shift my vowels to match hers, faltering momentarily in the currents during summer rains. Her approximate voice arises with memory and flowers ironwork. Just breathe, take this pill, turn your attention to where it hurts and relax. We'll get home, into bed, smoke dope, binge TV. I'll carry your things into the house. I look up over the counter medications. It's a matter of balancing the pH. It's been years. Come on, it's been 4 months. What do you want? Rolling on top. Thumb, fingers, infect, delicate, collagen. I love looking at you. Quivers and grasps my hand. Still to this day, when her thumb makes slow circles on my hand at a draft house, my eyes roll back into my head. Without conscious effort, I approximate her hand gestures. Measure my speech after we say goodbye, and you'll find her input. 20. She puts the plot in the background of the film. She wears rainbow mink-tails and Lucchese boots. She divides her after-expenses salary into 4 piles, 1 for each week, and keeps the cash in thick novels. She invents a portmanteau. She is a ferocious reader. She heads a goddess-based religion for a tax break. She has a steel gerund. She starts a third party to get the quinceañera vote. I get into her black Cadillac to assassinate any badge holder aiming to move here. My weapon, the hard citrine points of her hazel eyes. Her pronouns are you, yours. slight slouch, rolling L's, Chuck Taylors, a temperate affect but can't keep a steady temperature. Who's my baby girl? Alters her guardian angels, clears her throat to think, sniffles, burps, cramped leg, gently teases and flashes a beautiful smile. Dusk soft, I sit on a log, she sits on a tree swing, disenchanted by self-documentation of the unreal. I know he Frankfurter, she says to her mama at the drive-thru. Takes her phone conversation into the yard, returns mid-call with a fist of wildflowers. Are you happy? Excited by new light bulbs, talks to her creosote as she soaks it, lets her phone die. She doesn't work for free, lady. 27. A universe I still explore with her she calls home when she's home and back to driving on the brakes just like all the other Mexicans. We go to a day party in the courtyard of the Hotel San Jose, and all I can do is watch birds yell at each other from treetops. The people ahead of us in line don't look like people from here, but here is starting to look like them. Rapidly turns over to utopia. Jobs, housing stock, churches, festival economy, vodka and cinema brands for export. A fifth-generation Asian American family raises Black Angus for fun. At home in a district created by a 1920 segregation plan, I pick up cigarettes and chat with Black and South Asian men behind a counter. Next to two refugees looking over Medicaid paperwork at the optometrist, I too slip off a flip-flop to swing a brown foot. A metal and concrete stairway leads to a pile of frameless mattresses. Men in yellow jumpsuits fraternize to secure baby blue wreckage. Saplings and burlap lower into holes. Skinny steel columns at unrepeated angles hyperextend. Grit invaded by debris makes up our bones and fills our lungs. Clouds sprawl above a huge canopy over the black land prairie. A gun could marry me to this land, whispering to me to defend it. R.I.P. Video Acapulco on 7th Street. The sky forever. Through the day party's haze, she sees a small child alone in the crowd. She's the only adult moving toward the girl to ask her whether she's lost. 2. Third part. I imagine I've lost you now. Your energy jumps away into some rift. You don't even get to this point in the book. We don't follow. Maybe all writing is virtual, displacing emphatic gestures. Oh, did that text require a response, you ask? You don't objectify my written body. Maybe a manuscript is a text, a post, a like. The master's tools. Writing starves us of our resources. Writing about utopia is very literal. Here, hold my hand before this axiom strips us of this moment. Almost daily, on a conveyance or walking down the block, across an armrest, on a cottage porch, on your lap or mine. No content is communicated. The funny thing is that you are a good writer and an avid reader. You bought my book within days of our first date and quoted from it in a Valentine. We both talk a lot. I've exasperated you by jumping from one topic to another without really explaining anything. You interrupt. I give a summary overview and keep talking. We break each other's desired rhythms. There are two topics that make us raise our voices at each other: our subjective and social claims to racial identity, and the relevance of grammar and the non-binary gender pronoun they, them, theirs. A third, less contentious subject is code switching between languages and national identities in a post-colonial borderlands context. We get loud and impassioned in a sidewalk cafe in a loud city. We talk over one another. I see in your face how much pleasure you take in me before I hear your counterpoint. Over the phone, you tell me about an article you are reading. In an email after we hang up, I write, yes, the Why Hasn't She Seen It article is such a good read. It underscores a lot of what you and I have been trying to get at in our fun and roundabout way. The summaries of her essay, Passing for White, Passing for Black, especially, and they remind me of some of your stories. She's collecting a pension now. She's retired from being Black. I'm looking at the 3 paragraphs after the image of my calling card number 1, doing family genealogy, cautiously claiming to be racially mixed, the pressure to take sides during the civil rights movement. I was trying to say in New York that social movements of all kinds have been important to me, and now I'm questioning having to take sides. I'm trying to figure out things all over again. I trust your sensibility in what you say, but listening to you can be surreal. Many of my former colleagues derisively laugh at that Time magazine New Face of America cover, but yeah, she looks like you. And actually do feel more racially mixed than Filipino, and those scholars are no longer reliable or interesting to me. But the 10 paragraphs after, in 1987, the same year as our first retrospective, that entire section, painful, enraging. How do you talk about those microaggressions of racial gatekeeping if you don't somehow take sides? Anyway, I appreciate how and why Piper's a freak. Yeah, she'd be unpleasant to hang out with, but also kind of a role model. XOK. P.S. I made a PDF of the article. We'll see attached if useful. PPS, so glad we saw this show together. You don't write back. You don't bring it up in the next phone call. Instead, details, the contents of a closet or a box, the recounting of an exchange, the long-distance equivalent of calling me onto your chest when once I was so upset by the contradictions between your experience and my politics, I sat up straight up in bed and cried. The material, the minute, the micro, the sociability, the small talk, the dyke, the feminist, the gracious, the friendship circle, the moody, the offering rides, the rooted, the persevering. Grounding in trivia games and the practice of visiting with mothers and lifelong friends. 3. After we first meet, you go away for 10 days. You drive 8 hours west to visit your mom. We text a lot back and forth. You blush when I find out later that maintaining contact with someone far away is an exception you make for me. You write me in emojis, and I overtranslate. I'm feeling concrete, you text. Now we're both moving away from the city where we met. The first week goes by without much contact. There's no content, no product, no spin on acclimating to monsoons and absence. Space opens up for doubt and worry. I listen. Don't take my hand. Let this moment come and go. When you call, your voice is very tender. We each exit this city privately. You ask me to leave hours before you do so you can attend to details and get a few hours of sleep alone. I whisper for the first time the phrase Barth calls truly emphatic. There's no communication in it. You give a low murmur, almost a purr, an echo of non-content. 4. In your childhood room, you throw drugstore candy at my napping body. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You who makes home in suspicion, protects what you think is too vulnerable, survives on so little. You kept it tight. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. To you, a hello, a trace of white sage smoke, scars of calendula, eucalyptus cuticle, oxytocin, serotonin. Smell copper, makers and ginger, coconut oil, schadenfreude. Reply with a quick production of mucus. You, who is the you and the she of this writing. Maybe you distract from all the breaking. Maybe you bridge and re-emphasize. Distraction again. Making a new pattern in chaos. Maybe you were writing me.